welcome to the Researching Dutch Ancestors. One of the most useful links already been shared in the G2G chat, which is the Netherlands Project resources. So on there, you've got the main archives. Hopefully you're all familiar with it. If not, there's We Was We, Open Archives, and Family Search are all very useful for Dutch ones. The first three here are all specifically Dutch, whereas the Family Search one is more general. Different people like different ones. I like We Was We. I've got a subscription there, so I can actually do multiple people searches. Whereas with Open Archives, you can do multiple people searches without a subscription, by putting an ampersand between the two names. I don't know if you know that trick. Yeah, it's very useful to know. Whereas We Was We, you basically have to actually have subscription to do multiple people searches. So those are the best known archive of search engines. But ones you might not know so much, and they're also linked there, but I was getting in my way. I like using one called online begraafplaatsen, online burial places, which is a good search engine for looking for Dutch people that are buried. It's very useful when they're more recently and the death records aren't available yet. So you can just put that's the last name there. Last name field. I usually leave this is the surname prefix field. I usually leave it empty and just do the first and last name. And you can just search on that. And no, it's not finding anything there. Let's try a more common name. So let's say, wait. And saying I've got too many results. So let's give it a first name. And then you get all sorts of burial records, which is very useful because you got both the birth date, death date, and quite often also spouses. So here you can see that Klaas Wit was married to Arthur Coen. So you got both their birth and death dates. So I find that very useful for finding more recent death dates that aren't public yet. Another popular one I use is Dolpha, which is you can search through newspapers and other things, and books as well. Don't find the book search that good because it's too wild. So again, you can go in here and search for a name or even multiple names. And if you get too many results, like this one's giving way too many results, you can actually say, I want it with exact phrase. Yeah, didn't find anything. Or the other option is you use the word keyword prox, which is basically proximity. And it finds words close together. And this doesn't have to be names, it can be anything you like. It's just a keyword search. And here, yeah, going to counter that's basically newspapers. You can say which period you're interested in. And here you can see, yeah, Klaas de Wit as a keyword. And quite often I like going to this one, familiebericht, which is basically family notices, i.e. birth, death, and marriage notices. And here you've got, yeah, Klaas de Wit died, and he's a widower of Aaltje Kale. And you can actually go into that and actually see the newspaper article. There it is. So you can see his name, who he's a widow of, and where he died. So I find that very nice. You can also find other things like one of my ancestors, I found him advertising his shop. So it makes it more interesting to find things like that. Gets my way, that toolbar, screen sharing. So what else? So I've been editing this page recently, so it's hopefully up to date. So here's the online begraafplaatsen, is another Dutch cemetery search. Find a grave is more international, and so is billion graves. So that's world means world. I might put some more English in here, make it easier for non-Dutch speakers. And this one is a death notice, this one. Again, quite interesting. And another one I find of interest is this one here. I'll put this in English for you guys. You just put in a last name, and it draws a map of the Netherlands with where that name occurred. So that's very useful for rarer surnames, where you want to know where they came from. Not so useful if it's a very common Dutch surname. Well, that one's not too bad. Again, you see hot spots of where they occur the most. What else? We've got all the provincial archives listed. So you got the primary and the secondary for each province. So if you know which province you came from and you can't find it in Wie was Wie, or Alpha, yeah, Delphi Translate. Will Delphi Translate? No, but you could capture the image and use something like Google Translate. They can do images. If you have any questions, do feel free to ask, or if you have any favorite links yourself that aren't on here, or you have any specific questions either about the Netherlands project, WikiTree, or doing Dutch genealogy, feel free to ask. So those are some of my favorites. What are yours? I've also used Find a Grave quite frequently, online begraafplaatsen, and Billion Graves. They all cover, yeah, sometimes they both have it, sometimes one of them will have it, sometimes the other. Anyone have any questions? Yeah, chat. Yeah, yeah, online familieberichten. Yeah, so that's a sister site to the online begraafplaatsen. Quite often, if you do a search there, if there is a death notice in the other one, it will actually link to it from that one. So I'll add this one as a separate one as well. So there's sister sites, online begraafplaatsen, online familieberichten. And so is anyone stuck on any particular ancestor they can't find? We can do a demo, see if we can find something. Another one, which I've added recently, is one called Genealogy Welkbak. This is actually got a option here, zoek naar scans, and you put a place name here, like Amsterdam. And you tell it what sort of thing you're looking for. You got different. This one's baptisms and birth, marriages and huwelijken, slightly different. Divorces, deaths and burials, population registers, and 1 year, 5 year, and 10 year tables. These are basically handwritten indexes. So if you know approximately where somebody was born, but you don't know the exact date, you could go to here and put in the period. So say, somebody's born in Amsterdam around 1800 and see if there's a nice index. Nope, not on that one. But we can, there we go. These are all the scans at family search for Amsterdam for around that period. So here you can see baptisms for a particular church, Nederlands Hervormde, for 1788 to 1811. But it's much easier if there's a index table, but unfortunately it doesn't look like the Amsterdam one has one. But from there, yeah, you can go and takes you to family search to that particular scan of the microfiche. And you can go try to locate your ancestor on there. So, yeah, it's the prefix, the film number, and basically information. Again, what period it's for, baptisms for that church, 1788 to 1802. And there it starts. And this one's quite nice handwriting, so easy to read. Unfortunately, some of them are not so nice. And it gets very hard to read. Anyone else have any hints or something they want to share or ask? So yeah, you can see here I was working on this family here, Gergevlis with Zeldren. So with Cornelis van Zeldren, I was just busy yesterday adding all their children. That's one of the things I like about We Was We, is currently it links to other acts that are relevant to this thing. Like here you got the the groom's parents' marriage, the spouse, the wife's parents' marriage, and their kids' births and marriages. We Was We is also available in English, which makes it easier if you're English reading, although some bits aren't translated. So sometimes in the records there'll still be comments in it. In Dutch, you'll have to translate.
There's a person in the chat that wants to do one.
What was that?
There's a person in the chat that wants you to do someone.
Yep. Okay. Just trying to find where my window with the chat's gone. If you've got just a first name and no last name for the person, then what you try to do is a two-person name search where you know who they're related to. So then it's a matter of trawling through records so you can find them. Okay, so let's go look for Johanna Wildschut. Okay, so the fact that they're born in 1919 might mean their death is too recent. But anyway, but we can certainly try somebody. New it takes. So I would like quite often using the mother's name. So yes, there you have the birth, but no death record yet. So that's unfortunately with recent ones, and that's when you start going, can I find them in other things? I wish the Zoom chat thing would stop being pinned over top of. Thank you. So let's try online begraafplaats and let's see if those. Is that the one? 1919. There she is.
Oh, cool.
1911. 1919.
That was
23rd
quick.
November Not doesn't quite match.
Oh,
It's
that's the
very
November.
close.
I see.
It's very close, but it's not quite a match. But I double check your birth date, but we did find,
Yeah, we found the birth record.
yeah, find birth record. So what did it say? Uh, where's my, we was research. Okay, yes. So 23rd of 11th is the birth. So that does not match. Does it? Oh, I've lost the screen. Too many windows open. Let's close some. It's, that's a hazard with genealogy. You
Yeah,
open so many windows sometimes and you get lost. Okay, so 23rd of 11th. Where is, let's close that one. 23rd. Yeah, so this one matches the birth record, whereas the what we found doesn't quite match. So either and born in Utrecht, which is not accurate either. So it's not the same person, unfortunately.
that looks, was there other?
There was two others there. No birth date.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that first one is her.
Uh,
The first one is her. Buddha.
the first one,
Yep, that's her. Awesome.
that's her.
Yeah, because she was a Jehovah's Witness, so that's her. Thank you.
And you even got an image of the grave place, the
Nice.
gravestone there. So, yeah, gives you approximate death date, but not an accurate one.
Hmm. But it's more information that I had, so that's great.
Yeah, so that gives you a place to start.
Yeah.
And so let's try, see if we can find it in Telfer. Way too many hits. Oh, let's narrow it down a bit. Okay, 28 hits. That's more manageable. Now we know, was it 2008?
Yeah.
Okay,
Hmm.
doesn't look like we've got it down because no 21st. It's only 19th and 20th century. So I
Oh,
don't
gotcha.
think we have a hit of her here.
Gotcha.
So that's how you can narrow it down by period. And after you choose the period, you can narrow it down by decade.
Very nice.
And yeah, it can also, yeah, whether it's, this is basically saying whether it's basically the whole land or you want the regional newspapers.
Oh, okay.
So there's all sorts of options here, but you might have to, yeah, use Google Translate to understand what it's saying. But yeah, here it's saying a, a family notice as opposed to that one's articles. So who knows, you might find an article about it, but so far, no, I wouldn't say so because that's more names, more names. No. Uh, okay, that's a family notice, but that's 1972. So yeah, but if you have a second name to go with it, sometimes you do search both.
That's really cool that that's an option to be able to have multiple names like that.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a keyword search, so
Yeah,
either
but that procs, putting that
prox is
proc
very
in there,
useful.
that's really cool.
Yeah, so you do the same with prox, just in case they've reversed the names or something. They do
Yeah,
that sometimes, and just see if that returns anything different. No, same. So again, you see, yeah, they just got the full phrase, but it might find things that not quite. This one's Johanna, yeah, Lida, Johanna. So yeah, it's finding this one's Johanna Katharina. So if you have a middle name but you didn't know about it, it would still find it. Or I shouldn't say middle name for Dutch. It's actually second first name or given name, because the Dutch consider they don't have middle names. I don't know if you've come across this. And when we create Dutch profiles, we never put anything in the middle name order. Given names go in the first name field. And in fact, if you don't do that, then it comes up in
there.
the error report saying, yes. So anyone else want to find any places or place names? People write them in so many different ways. Oldenzaal, Groningen versus Netherlands versus Oldenzaal, uit Groningen, Netherlands. It probably depends on the place and time, because sometimes you start off with a village as part of a regional area, which is part of a province, and later on it gets merged. So quite often you have to look at what's the most accurate at the time of the record. Um, Quite often, if you start filling out the place name, you can get a list if you've got that option enabled of what time period that name was valid for. But it doesn't really matter if you don't quite get it right. Um, some, I mean, it's acceptable to put it as what it is now in the Dutch project. Um, well, you can next time. I'm sure we'll try to repeat this if it's popular. Uh, any other people you want to search for? I've been searching for one of my ancestors' death dates, and I've no luck so far. I've even had that one as my Christmas wish list on WikiTree. Nobody's been able to find them yet. So sometimes you get brick walls like that. I don't know if you've used this app, but I find it very useful on WikiTree. The CC7 views. Oh, yeah, that's because I'm on the wrong page. So yeah, there's one ancestor over here, which I still, yeah, I can't find them at the moment. But one of the things I like about this one is you can go to missing family if you're trying to increase your CC7, and then it comes up with all your profiles that missing information still, missing family members. All these ones still need parents, or if you want to find people that just need more children added, you just leave those two ticked, and all the people that still potentially might need children added, or why is this one? This is great grand. I think I might be able to tick this one as got two children, but as it's close to the time when privacy kicks in, they might still have more children. So she's only 28 at this point. So that's why I have marked this one as no more children. And again, I've made a note here saying that her death details won't be available till 2029 because records aren't available till 50 years after death for death dates, 100 years for birth, and 75 years for marriages. So you always have to keep that in mind when you're doing searches in the archives, that the more recent stuff won't be available till a certain date. Brick wall. You mean as more ancestors, or the one I can't find the death date for? Because there's lots of brick walls, or at least ones I'm still working for, the one I can't find. That's it. Was one of my Maya ancestors. Maya. I thought. Jacob. That one. I've not been able to find his death record yet, Jacob Maya. So I've got research notes where we looked. Um, so couldn't find him in We Was We, couldn't find him in Online Begraafplaatsen. So he's just listed as deceased on his daughter's death certificate. So we know he died somewhere in that period. And here you can see other people's notes when they try to do research. But yes, he's eluded me so far. So this is one of the ones of my earlier ancestors where I just haven't been able to find that death record. And I've tried all sorts of things. And I don't think anyone else has found it yet either. Like the family search profile, I think fairly, last time I checked, no death date either. Yeah, see, again, just after a date. Yep, that's one of my early brick walls. I just have not been able to find his death record anywhere. Yeah, we've got all sorts of lovely information about him, including it's Delphi, that he had a business, so he had an ad running there. Read the fine print. For some reason, it's come up today. Basically, copyright notice that if you want to use it, you need to get permission. Yes, fine. So somewhere on here was an ad for my. I should clip it at some point and put it on. But yeah, it was a shop notice there. So yes, he was a greengrocer. So yeah, so you can find interesting information like that in newspapers. I like adding occupations and where they lived. So yeah, so he was a kleermakersknecht, which is basically an apprentice clothes maker. He drove coaches at one point. He lit lanterns, and then he became a greengrocer, and later he basically sold all sorts of things. So shopkeeper there. So I think that makes the profiles more interesting if you can find out what their occupations were at different times. Have I got? I'll have to see if I can find population register records for him. I don't seem to have added him any yet, because that's the other thing to search for. And then, so let's try that. No, he was mainly in Axel Zeeland, but he was in Terneuzen later in his life. So let's try, see if we can find any records for him. So here we've got a death record for a Jacob Meyer, but so this is a stillborn child. And yeah, that's my ancestor there. Here you can see he's a shopkeeper. But let's say I want only deceased, 1908. And this is a different Jacob de Meyer. He died at age 13 days. And different parents. Doesn't match. Parents of this one are Johannes Franciscus Meyer and Cornelia Helena Jolate, who has various spelling variations on her name, which makes life interesting. Or was it her parents that were? Look, oh, here we go. Yeah, Jolate. So whenever you're searching for something, be aware that spelling can vary, especially the earlier records. Um, so sometimes, yeah, you have to start using wildcards, doing multiple name searches, and just trying variations, and make notes of those variations when you find them, so you can research them again later. So, yep, still nothing. Um, let's have a look. Document type. No, it doesn't appear in any population registers, or at least not in Terneuzen. So let's try without and see if we can find that he's elsewhere. So 1860. Where is this one? Jacob Mayer, 1835. So that's not him because it's 1849. So sometimes you have to just dig and dig. That's 1835 guy again. Fortunately, it's a reasonably common name. Same guy, not my ancestor. So yeah, I could continue digging through, but that would get very boring for you guys. Uh, Dutch colonies like Curacao. I know both We and Open Archives have Suriname, but I've not tried Curacao. And there's also an online archive for Suriname. If you go to here, you've got the world, so it contains some other things. So let's try place of Curacao. And yep, we've got lots of Curacao records here. You've got nearly half a, oh, got lots of records, nearly half a million of records for Curacao. So you would look, I know you commented you were looking for a particular Curacao person. Want to share who that is? And we can do a search looking for Raymond. Is that the last name? Or is that the first name? Let's try. Last name, Curacao. Nope. I take it. Mm, let's stuff it up. No. Okay. We've got Ramonda, but not Raymond. And if it's a surname, do we have anything? Again, we got Ramonda as a last name. After immigrated to Salem, Massachusetts. Mm. We got Ramondo, but not Ramond. So yeah, you can see 1848 in Curacao. Married to Anita Bernabe. So yes, and also Open Arch contains records for Curacao as well. Paris. What other places have we got? Here, doesn't look like it has Curacao, so you might be better off with We at the moment. See if you can find them there. Because, yeah, I'm not sure if there's a online Curacao one, but I can have a look. I do have the one for Suriname, which I use on a regular basis. I've been adding Suriname profiles. With OpenArch, you can do all the searches without logging in. We. You better have it's better to have a login because you can do more advanced search. But the searches I'm doing is even more advanced. I'm actually paying subscription. So let's do a session without being logged in. If you log in, so you got a simple name search and you got a one-person name search. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the lovely option of clicking begins with or wildcards searches, which you can do if you've got a paid subscription. But if you want a search done, you can always ask on Discord or post in G2G, and somebody who's got a subscription will be quite happy to do a search for you. So yeah, this is what you have if you've got a subscription. You've got all these options to say begins with. You got two-person name searches. You can do wildcards like asterisks for multiple characters, question mark for a single character that you don't know or varies in the name. Like if I was to do that, it would still bring up Ramonda and Ramondo. But with this one, you got no option. If you do that, it won't work. It just does Ramond without the extra characters. So that's the only difference between having a subscription versus not having a subscription. But you can do a simple search on a name without needing to have a subscription. So I'm not logged in on this one. You can just search first name, last name, but you have to have basically exact, or if you do it here, it's a bit more wild about where it is. It doesn't care whether it's first name, last name, and even the order doesn't matter. So if you don't have a subscription, just doing a single name search to starters sometimes will get you more hits. And later on, you can narrow it down when you're more certain of what the full name is. OpenArch, I think I'm usually not logged in, but you can log in as well. So you can sign up. I've never paid for this, so you can just. So currently not logged in, I don't think. If I log in, it just opens up some new features, but isn't. So I was searching with no. So I'm on a trial subscription, but you can upgrade again to a plus subscription, which gains you. Da, 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 da. Mm, sure what it gets you. I've never tried it. Gives you access to the forum, Genealogy online. So I've never felt the need to subscribe to that one. So OpenArch, wildcards, and the ampersand for multiple names. They all work without being logged in. Like my Link should quite happily. Oh, well, I'm logged in now, but Come on, keyboard, you're being difficult. And yeah, brings up. So that's that Mayo person again. What we're looking for. Come on. It's being slow for some reason. There we go. Yeah, it's a different one. Yeah, Marina's curving with Coen May. So yeah, two name person search and brings up results. So yeah, many people that don't want to pay anything extra, OpenArch is probably your go-to, but you can do searches for free on WikiTree as well, but just not as advanced as OpenArch free. Yeah, searching on one name, that's going to be tricky. Anyone else got any hints, tips, questions? Um, Images. I'm not a. There are some LLM models which are being worked on at the moment, especially for Dutch handwriting and their records. Don't have that on hand at the moment, but yeah, if you want a better translator, I know DeepL, but that doesn't do images yet. I don't know if you've come across DeepL. So I find this one actually does better translations, but it doesn't do images as yet. So, or at least not in the free version. But, so yeah, I still use Google Translate for images. Um, on WeWasWe and OpenArt, yes, both are uh, WikiTree Sourcer can handle both of them. So, for example, we take you and we go build citation narrative. And there we go. So yes, they're both sites. Oh, no, Sorcerer works. And another little thing I don't know if you know about. It's also WikiTree B, and it has a little feature that probably not many people know about. Okay, let's first check to see, do you have a profile? No, you don't. Bow's in the way again. So let's go WikiTree B, and you can actually say, I want to add this person, either as a relative of somebody or totally unrelated, and it fills it in for you. There's a couple of little bugs since the update to WikiTree, and especially it does that, which is not so nice. So I just have the standard template for Dutch profiles. Come on. And go back here, build narrative with citation. And he was born on sort of related to the Netherlands, so I'll leave these off because he's not born in the Netherlands. But I'll just do that and continue. Still no matches, good. And we've created a profile. Very useful during connectathons. You can create profiles very quickly.
Very nice.
So that only works off We, not OpenArch. But you got to double check because sometimes it gets things wrong. So especially if it's a stillborn child, no first name, and you got a surname prefix, then sometimes it gets confused and puts a surname prefix into the first name field. So you got to always double check automation when it does things because it gets it wrong sometimes. And of course, WikiTree source, you can also use it on Family Search, which also has lots of Dutch records, mainly from OpenArch, but also other sources as well, like Find the Grave and so forth. So you can very quickly, if you've got a good profile on Family Search, you can just say, generate citations of everything, and it will quite happily create you lots of citations. If, for example, we go to this profile again, so we've got 17 sources on here. You just go build all citations. Boom. I usually pick and choose. Usually, if I've got a child's record, a child-ready profile, I'll omit the children's ones from the parents' profile. However, if I haven't created the profile yet, I might chuck those into research notes. These are children that need to be added still to that profile.
Yeah, and those are all options you can choose in the sorcerer option,
Sorcerer itself, yeah.
whether you want those, whether you want it to create those, because it'll just leave those out if you don't want them to. So
Mm. Yeah, it's got lots of options in
really
Sorcerer.
optimal options,
So you just
lots of options.
too many sometimes, but yes.
Yeah, you get kind of lost.
Uh, and I don't, uh, and also I use the WikiTree browser extension as well a lot, because it just makes my life easier. Like I don't know if you noticed that. Watch the white space, boom, gone. That's one of the options in the WikiTree browser extension. So if the white space is upsetting you, there's an option for it. Just search for white, readability options, and you set just the spacing between data entry fields to minimal, and it just compacts it. So I quite like that feature. And you can set it to whichever your preference is. It's got different options. WikiTree default or minimal. Oh yeah, I thought they had more options, but they must have taken it off. But I prefer minimal. It just makes it nicer. And the other one I use a lot, AutoBio. Once I've got family members connected, and I AutoBio it. And it just, yeah, puts in the links to family members. It adds categories. In fact, I can see if we'll do auto categories on this one. Yep, it added the Curacao category, which I should have put in. I don't know if we've got a Curacao needs death category. I don't think we do. Curacao needs, no, there's no categories for that set up yet. Various others, but not that. Oh, for a matter of interest, I actually lived in Curacao when I was between age of about 2 and before I turned 5. And my younger brother was actually born there. So that is all. I think we can probably call it a day, or whatever time of day it is there. It's coming on 9 a.m. on Sunday morning for me.
Thanks so much, Coen, for doing this.
You're welcome. And if you have any further questions, I'm on Discord. I check the GTG post for Netherlands. So yeah, can ask questions, either of them, and either I or somebody else from the Netherlands project will probably answer it. You're welcome, Leanne. And hope you all learned something, and if something I've missed or something you think it would be a useful resource, let me know and I can add it to the page. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.